Hey everybody, welcome into the New England Ski Journal Basecamp Podcast, sponsored by Country Ski and Sport. I'm Mike Spiecian, your host, with
Keith Pearson.
Keith Pearson? Oh my goodness.
Well, who do we have in between us?
I feel like we're in the ninth inning, and we just brought in the closer.
The tan is a little less right now, but it's good to be back here talking about real snow, Mike. Thank you, Keith. Good to have you.
Nice
Thanks for having me back in here.
Well, Chip, you were with me for, 6 podcasts as an interim, sort of a bullpen person.
Well, I was kind of laughing. It's, last time you and I were talking, we talked a little last night, I was thinking we were in kind of the twilight of our ski season. We were daydreaming about the upcoming season, and I'm more than excited right now because we're in it.
Yeah,
I looked at the reports this weekend. My customers coming into the shop, there's snow on the ground, and it's ski season.
Yeah, we were talking about skiing back then, but we were talking about big snow.
It was a daydream. We were in Chile. We were searching for snow.
Well, they had snow.
Had it.
You skied big snow right after we did it, or right before we did that podcast.
That's correct.
Which was pretty cool. But, Keith, as editor of the New England Ski Journal, there was a best of that came out.
Yes. It was a reader survey. So they're not my personal opinions. I haven't even been to all of the places that were mentioned as top choices, or I didn't have anything to do with keeping your favorite mountain off. It's not like covering high school sports where every writer hates your school or anything like that. But I thought it came out well. Gave enough wide range of topics, and it's a small group's opinion. Those that chose to respond to the survey, we thought there were clear choices for a lot of these top choices for each of these categories.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you know how many people responded? Guesstimate.
Low triple figures.
Okay, low triple figures. And were they open-ended questions, or were they geared towards...
The answer was open-ended. There was not much in terms of give us your reason why you think that X mountain is the best overall. It was simply, which mountain do you think is, say, the most challenging?
Okay.
And some people did put why they thought, say, Mad River Glen or Cannon were their top choice. Many others didn't.
Well, part of the reason why Chip is here today, at the request of management here at Seamans Media, for you to, Keith, to go through what the results were, and then to allow two very old school New England ski guys.
Like I said, they were not necessarily my choices.
Right. But that's okay, because it's all subjective.
Yes.
And this is really fun because this is like walking into the ski shop. I always joke, it's the barber shop. You walk in Monday through Friday, and you guys are dropping off tunes, families are walking in, and there is a multitude of opinions, and it's really fun. It opens up my eyes. Like when I looked at this last night, there's places I wouldn't think of skiing, but now I'm intrigued. And if I've learned anything about skiing, it's about the stoke for me. And, if someone says something's good, who am I to dismiss it until I have that opinion? So I enjoy this. Like I said, this is the banter we have in the store on a weekly basis of this was good, this was bad, this was great, it's the excitement. And, I see it in print, and I tell everyone, read it. If anything, read this and open your mind, because we all get in that grind of just same place, and it becomes like getting on a subway car.
Well,
and this
exactly.
is the excitement. Like, what? Hey, let's try Bolton Valley. I saw that a lot in here, and I've had 2 different customers who I've known for years come in and talk about it. And I went home last night over my green chili enchiladas, and Kate and I, we talked about booking a trip up there. Why not?
You know what? I think Look, when somebody goes to, let's just say, Sugarbush, and it's all clouded in, and they don't experience it, they've been to Sugarbush once. Maybe they don't get the same experience, or, the conditions aren't, conditions are changeable here in New England. So I think when you look at the subjectiveness of each situation, so you've been there once, but you didn't catch it on a good day. You go to Mad River, and maybe it's crusty or whatever. You go to Mad River when it's 2 feet of new and fluffy. Right. There's a different experience, so consequently, each one's different. But this is going to be fun. I mean, Keith, you're taking over from here, and Chip and I are your guests. we're gonna fill you in on our thoughts.
We're the peanut gallery.
So when we when you open the magazine, or when you slide it, if you're looking at the digital version, we'll take it from the beginning. Sure. And it's shape wise, that's why certain categories are where they are. So when you see the first category being best grooming, it just fit there. But Bretton Woods being the top choice for best grooming, I think it's pretty hard to disagree with that, considering that's kind of what they're known for. And, the kind of beginner, lower intermediate mountain that the on-trail stuff at Bretton Woods is.
I don't disagree. I mean, it holds a soft spot for me. Mike knows I'm the king of the 78 to 84 millimeter ski. I love my big boys, but the fact is, you give me fresh corduroy with my background, you can just arc it out and you can have fun. And I've never walked off there having a bad day. I mean, it is smooth, and I've always joked that I feel like some of their groomers are ex-World Cup guys.
Well, I think when you look at Bretton Woods, I agree wholeheartedly. They do some great grooming. You have to realize that they don't have pitch.
Oh, yeah.
So that snow, it doesn't get skidded off as easy. So, but they do, look, they do a great job making snow. They do a great job managing that snow. Yep. But when I look at this, the list of 5, Bretton Woods, Okemo, Sunday River, Sunapee, Loon, they are all awfully good.
Top tier. It's the readers have spoken here, and you look at any of those resorts, if it hasn't snowed in a few days, you're going to have fun. You are going to have fun, because what they do is they maintain that snow. The quality for the lift ticket is there. If you're looking for woods and bumps a month after a storm, not going to find it, but what you will have is a really good day of sliding down the hill.
Exactly. I think I could also, once again, pitch matters. Okay. I think Ragged does a great job.
Wachusett?
Well, even Mount Snow, Stratton do great jobs. Wachusett does a great job. Wachusett does a great job grooming. They just get such an amount of people. Once again, the more people on a trail,
snow quality.
Right. It's tough to. They do some of the best out there, but that's my take.
No, and excuse me, when we talk about pitch, it's all relative. Your opinion, my opinion, is going to be different from the intermediate. And, again, it goes back to just that fun. Take Sunapee. Kate goes out and she feels like a World Cupper.
Yep.
I feel like I'm not in my 50s. But there's moments where if you want to accelerate and you want to jump off, Loon especially, same thing. There's moments where you can just stand on your skis.
Sure.
And you can put some G-forces on, but it's, don't discredit, like you said, the Ragged. Everyone, this is New England. One thing everyone, I guarantee, does is they do a really good job grooming, no matter where we go. These top 5 picks are definitely some that stand out, and it's, but it's New England. They all groom well.
And when I talk pitch, I don't mean from a skiing standpoint. I mean from everybody knows that the head walls will be the iciest because they get skidded down.
Yep.
So beginner terrain, the grooming holds up longer, intermediate, a little bit less, advanced, the least. And it's simply the ergonomics of how it works or whatever.
Right.
So that's cool. They're on.
Yeah, there it's and like I said, it's length too. I like that little Sunday River sitting in there in number 3 because, I always joke roller coasters are about, for me, 20 minutes too short.
Yep.
When I look at Sunapee, some of them, they're phenomenal. But that one little sneaker, I like that long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, little time.
All right, let's move on to most challenging. And they went with Mad River Glen, Cannon, Sugarloaf, J Peak, Killington.
Ooh.
Interesting. Mad River, it's tough to dispute that.
Yeah, it's wild. I always consider Mad River the Wild West.
Yeah, you know what? Less snowmaking, more natural.
Which lends itself to being for more of a experienced skier in itself.
Of course.
Just dealing with not corduroy, let's put it that way. And there's plenty of people who they don't mind doing any sort of angle drop, but they're so used to doing it when it is corduroy.
Uh-huh.
Now you're throwing them on off terrain. They're not quite as sure as how to handle it. Go to Mad River.
Well, we just talked about grooming.
Yep.
It's the yin and the yang.
Exactly.
But again, you can't dispute anything that's going on with these 5 mountains, and starting just with Mad River, it is just that it's stepping into the woods. It is true variable conditions, and I'm not going to tell someone with a bunch of beginners in their family to head up there, but if you're that average skier and you want to maybe try and explore what it is you see in the movies, these are all places that you can get in, get out, and the terrain will test you at a multitude of levels. The great thing is it is challenging, but it's not deadly. A lot of people, we used to see out west, show up and they stand on a head wall and it's well above the level. And I've skied Mad River a lot, and the great thing is I can relax as much as I want to push myself. And when we say challenging, it's not just challenging, but there's a diversity in that challenge for all, a reasonable amount of level of skiers.
100%. So these 5, Mad River, Cannon, Sugarloaf, J Peak, and Killington. Anybody missing there? There's some people missing there.
I mean, you're always going to have people missing when it's a set limit, but yeah.
I mean, I see the Saddleback for me. Maybe a little sneak out.
Now I wish I had the complete rundown. I could tell you, oh yeah, they were just off the board, or
no.
But I see
that's okay.
Stowe. What do you?
Stowe's as challenging as anything in New England, or more so. So you take the front 4. There's not 4 runs that are more challenging than those 4, especially Star and Goat. Okay, it's as challenging as it comes. So Stowe is completely missing off of there. J Peak, I love J, love it, but J isn't Castle Rock at Sugarbush.
I was gonna say Castle Rock was.
It's not. Okay, the most challenging runs in New England are from the Mad River Valley through Stowe, because the other one that isn't on there is Smugs. Smugs is as challenging. The Black Hole,
Sleeper.
Pre-fall. There's nothing steeper, more challenging in New England. And then you go over to Sugarloaf. I'm glad Sugarloaf's on here. Okay? Guess what? You've got pitches that nobody else. Upper White Nitro, that thing's steep. The snowfields?
Right. Snowfields.
It's
hard to beat that.
Right. Well, so when you look at it, it's a little bit subjective, but I think northern Vermont, and nothing against Jay, because Jay has, the face at Jay. When we had Steve Wright on, you heard me talk about it. The face is awesome.
But that's a prime example.
And I think the face itself would be, you can say the face is that's a plenty challenging terrain.
It's totally.
But that you kind of touched on it. It's that region, like when we look at it, we look at mountains. Mm-hmm. I look at it like the difference between Colorado and Utah. It's that range. Vermont is steeper.
Yep.
It's jagged, it's rigid, it's Sugarloaf, not without it, but a little rounded out, and you got to find those niches. So you got to be you got to explore a little bit. I find at Sugarloaf, but Vermont, anywhere through that corridor, you're going to find something to go ski. I mean, Killington's on here, and the Beast of the East. It's known for snowmaking. You don't think extreme, but
Killington, when you go to Devil's Fiddle or the woods off Devil's Fiddle, they are steep. They are pretty wild. But overall, you got Ovation. But Ovation, it's a set line.
But it's
steep.
It's steep. And in a lot of the bigger mountains on here, like Mad River hits it because chairlift, you put your skis off, there it is. It's right in front of you. Killington, some of these other places, you might have to look for it a little bit.
You do.
You got to make friends.
One thing being the size of Killington, it does have everything for everyone.
Sure.
So for most people, they'll be able to find something that they find enjoyable, challenging, whether it be tight trees or steeps, bumps, whatever. You're going to be able to find it there. And, those same people might not be the ones that are going to Mad River or to Bolton or to,
Sure. Well, I can tell you point blank, if you go around New England and look where there are fixed grip, doubles, singles, and so on, you're probably going to get some pretty damn good deep terrain. And that is true everywhere.
And actually, I did have one person reach out to me, shortly after the magazine came out, and they were asking about why Sugarbush didn't do well. And I wonder, how much of it is because of regional bias? Let's be realistic here. There's the New England Ski Journal, so it's primarily kind of a Boston hub is your readership, with branches out into the mountains. But the idea of Vermont is a lot more of a mix of New Yorkers and New Englanders. So you're not getting the same.
I disagree with you up there. That's Boston territory.
It is. It's
Sugarbush is Boston territory.
In my shop, it is. I'd say 70% of my skiers are almost trekking to Vermont. Like, we have to talk a lot about New Hampshire, Maine, because as the kids develop in our different programs, 100% the families are immediately heading towards that Vermont side because it has this allure of being steeper and a little bit more adventurous and bigger.
I know 20 people in the greater Boston area, if not 30, that all own places up at Sugarbush.
Yeah, and like my young kids, they all they talk about is Vermont.
Yeah, because that's where the snow is.
Yeah,
that's it. That's where the snow happens. But that's cool. I don't think it's way off, Chip. I just think, Cannon is difficult because Cannon is up in that notch.
It's a beast.
It's a beast.
It's a beast.
It's a beast.
It's under any and all conditions. You go up there, the wind blows.
I don't go to Cannon for that powder day normally.
I'm going to say it's an acquired taste. I've skied there several times. Excuse me. It is fast. It's big. Front seven, when it's in shape, I'm a bump guy. Love it.
Guess what? That's good. But Cannon has one of the most difficult skiing trails in New England. Mm-hmm. It's called the tramway. If you've never
I've
skied
never
it,
done it.
it skis unbelievable.
When
it's good. When it's bad,
good,
when it's bad, yeah.
It's like and I tell everyone in New England, we have runs as we kind of go through this. And again, it's opinions on top of opinions. You've traveled the world. I've traveled the world. We have snow and conditions that will rival anywhere in the world when you hit it on the right day.
Yep.
And I hate to tell people, that's anywhere in the world. If you get it on the right day, it's always going to be good.
I can tell you, I sold skis. I can tell you people in Park City were pretty upset when they had East Coast conditions, which were better than East Coast because they never got the rain on top. But everybody gets good conditions. Everybody gets bad. But that's cool. What else going on, Keith?
All right, best overall. We had Killington, Saddleback, Sugarloaf, Cannon, and Stowe.
That's interesting because Saddleback was number 2 in ski magazines for best. Saddleback has something going on, I think.
They get some good terrain.
They've got some good terrain.
I'm going to jump in. I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
Casablanca Glades, that whole section, is good as anything I've skied. You know, a little shorter than what I'm accustomed to, but it's good. And
I like how some of it's so open.
that's it. It reminds me of Firekill out west, where I can just put my 184s on and just let it hit. Springtime up there.
Springtime.
And I'll say there, I'm not surprised. I've gone up a few times, and we all know I'm an Aspen boy. Having the sushi, having the big party is not my MO, but it reminds me of Colorado back in the 70s. Salida.
Salida.
I hit the soft spot, didn't I?
Come on.
It goes back to my enchilada, like get a burger and a beer, the bowling alley. There's something about wood buildings, a sky full of stars.
Saddleback is really... It takes it back in a different direction. I think best overall, Killington. Killington has...
It has everything.
It's the full package.
Yeah,
It does. And it's tough to... Sugarloaf, like Saddleback, you've got finite places you can go. My biggest problem would be with Saddleback is, okay, where are we going to dinner tonight?
And there's no doubt the amenities are different. You have to have
amenities are different.
You have to have that mindset.
You got to take your snowmobile with you and ride across the lake.
That's fun.
Yeah, nothing wrong with
That's
that.
the experience.
But Stowe is doing Stowe these days. I mean, they are just, if you've never stayed up at Spruce Peak or whatever, Stowe is Stowe. It's like going to Beaver Creek here in New England.
But like you were saying earlier, there's a lot I don't see on here that I think could hit.
Like?
Let's go back, Smuggler's Notch. Let's...
I think where Smugglers falls short on the best overall is you don't have high-speed lifts, and the mountains, Morris is a long ways from Spruce or Sterling and Madonna. So that's the only thing I think is a great family hill, but I can see where that doesn't fall in. I think you talked about regional. I don't see Stratton on here. I don't see Okemo on here. And those areas, I would agree, the southern Vermont areas tend to be Albany, Connecticut, and New York.
Stratton's one I always forget.
Stratton's
It's a nice little village.
I love Stratton. It's just
it goes back to it. It's another one of those, you don't have a bad day.
No, Stratton.
How would you compare the Stratton village to Trimble?
Smaller, much smaller.
But it's got a character, and it's safe for families, and kids can run around in the fire pit, and that's another one that always... See, I love these articles. Yeah.
Well,
it even gets me going.
Let's put it this way. Southern Vermont's a place I've never skied. I've never done Stratton. I've never done Snow. Mount Snow, yeah. I've never done those. And I was cutting across this summer. I went out to Syracuse, and from where I was up at Loon, cutting through, and it's like, all right, Magic's right here, Brahma's right here, and this Stratton right there, and it's like I've never been in this set part of the state.
Well, when you go to Stratton, and it's a sunny day, you go over to Sun Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's high speeds. You can pick your area. You can ski top to bottom off the gondola if you want to. But I've spent so many days at Stratton.
I mean, we used to do the demo. I mean, the demos were there, but because as the industry, it was consistent too. You know, the snow was good. We'd go up. We had some lucky days where it dumped snow, but like Mike said, the gondola, the little town, lodging. I mean, that's a sleeper. Totally space.
But because you can't get there from here.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because anything, my wife will tell you, anything south of Okemo, if I want to go to Magic, if I want to go to Bromley, it's just really tough to get across, either Route 2 or Route 9 in New Hampshire or whatever.
But that's what also goes back to, as we look at this list, like Saddleback. Anytime we add difficulty, they become destination. So if you're looking for a weekend with maybe is not as, the crowd factor.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
If you add a little difficulty on the front side of your trip, you're going to reap a benefit because there's going to be less skiers. You're going to have better conditions. There's
100%.
Yeah.
And that's where the grooming kicks in. Less people on a hill means the grooming holds up better. It automatically is better. The Button Ski Hanger is a patented ski storage fixture that safely stores alpine skis regardless of length, width, or shape. This means that your fat powder skis can now be stored next to your narrower carving skis, your race skis, and your kid skis. For more information, visit their website, buttonskirack.com. The Button Ski Hanger is also available for purchase at amazon.com. So make your purchase today. The Button Ski Hanger is simply better for your skis.
If you want to be inspired and informed on everything about the New England ski and outdoor scene, then you need to check out skijournal.com. Skijournal.com delivers daily content on breaking industry news, tips, gear, dining, travel, entertainment, as well as all archived episodes of the Emmy-nominated New England Ski Journal TV show and the Basecamp Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to New England Ski Journal, the longest-running regional ski magazine in the country. New England Ski Journal's award-winning writers and photographers bring all 4 seasons to your door with best-in-class coverage on skiing and the outdoors. Log on to skijournal.com and click on the subscribe button to get New England Ski Journal mailed to you today. New England Ski Journal is a Seamans Media publication. Seamans Media. Inspiring, informative, insightful.
What do we got next, Keith?
Why don't we go to best terrain variety? And this size matters in a category like this, and I think you kind of see that with Killington taking the top spot. Sugarloaf, Stowe, Sunday River, and Loon. Pretty good day for Boyne.
Loon surprises me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got variety.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, any of the bigger resorts give you that ability. So if we talked about Saddleback and the lower lift gives you variety. I think Sugarloaf is a great. Once again, you've got the Wiffle Tree. You got the Super Quad, and then you've got things up top. I think there's great variety. The Timberland, or the, what's the top left lift? Oh, my goodness. I've only skied there 100 times, but, there's tons of variety there. Loon.
The cat skiing.
Yeah. And cat skiing off of Burnt.
Bracket.
Burnt Mountain.
Oh, Burnt. Yeah.
Bracket.
Bracket's the one in between.
That's correct. Yep. Off the best, just so anybody.
It's been a while since up to the low.
If you want one of the best runs when the snowfields are open, nothing is better than doing laps off the snowfield into Bracket and then out. It is, I'm telling you, it's some of my favorite skiing in New England. Loon's a little bit,
But I can see it. It's diverse for where it is.
Yep. Well, you know what? The same thing. I think Mount Snow is missing here on variety, especially with
I'd even say Okemo.
Carinthia space. Okemo's also missing.
Yeah.
So those variety of terrain normally comes with, great entry level, intermediate terrain, and then advanced thrown in. But I don't have a problem with any of those.
No, there's no surprise. I mean, size is king in this category, and like I said, you could add 10 more.
Sure.
Again, based on opinion, but that's legit.
All right, and to close out the page was Best Family Skiing. You mentioned it with Smugs. They took the top spot. Loon, Okemo, Bretton Woods, Gunstock rounding out the top 5.
I feel like Ragged's missing here.
Ragged, Bolton, they're missing. They're missing. 100%. Smugs is so unique. You both know I did my internship up there. It's been
a couple of days ago. It wasn't that long ago, Mike. Don't worry.
Yeah. But family skiing, I look at family skiing as places where you can ski with mom and dad, but you can also be let loose on your own.
And that's where I see Smugs. I think I see Stratton missing there. Again, it's just the village. It's
the only thing with Stratton is because it skis off a dome, you can end up in Sun Bowl before you know it. Sort of like trying to get back from Bear Mountain back to Ram's Head, unless you know how to do it.
About 2 hours.
That's how you build resilience.
I understand, but guess what? That girlfriend or wife is ready to kill you at that point. But
that's how you end up on Stone Mountain Rescue.
Northwoods Law.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to Stowe when you're skiing spruce. There's only one spot you're going to end up, unless you hike over the backside. You're going to end up right back to where you started. So, yeah, I think a Bretton Woods, perfect.
Yep.
One of the
Easy.
best. One of the best.
Easy.
Okay, the whole family. Smugs because of all it offers. Gunstock, same thing. What a great family hill. I also think we forget about the Middlebury Snowballs and the Dartmouths. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I can guarantee a lot of the listeners or readers have never been to them.
Absolutely.
No, I have one particular family in the shop that comes in, and they've raised generations off the Middlebury Ski Bowl. And it's the one thing that rings true is I send the kids up, they come back. And the grandmother, it's Connie, who's just a beautiful woman, probably in her late 70s, 80s, is still out there with their grandkids. And it's just that. It's a family mountain. You're right, Middlebury.
But I'm Keith. We just had Andy Shepard on, okay, with Black. Anything like a Black Mountain, Maine, Mount Abrams, these are all, we think of the big guys, but all of these guys are the ideal family hills.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not spread out. You go up, there's only one place you're going to end up when you come down.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, let's move over to the Glades.
Ooh.
And it's, it's Jay Peak, Saddleback took the 1 and 2. Bretton Woods, Cannon, Sugarloaf, 3, 4, 5.
Fire away, Chip. I'll give you my takes.
Mike's going to give me a hard time. It's my last ACL was done at Bretton Woods in the trees. And, everyone who loves and cares about me proceeded to give me a hard time, but...
You know why? I can tell you why.
I know, he's going to try and, stick it in there.
I'm going to tell you why.
I don't mind seeing Bretton Woods in there for the Glades, and this is a prime example. I'm going to throw Kate under the bus. Are you going to enjoy them? 1 or 2 runs. Are you going to get bored? Maybe a little bit. But you're, all of us sitting here at this table are at a different level of skiing. But to watch the look of an 8-year-old or, a 15-year-old or someone's, wife or partner get into the trees for the first time under, decent conditions without a lot of fear factor, it's a pretty special place. It's a training ground, and I think it's a great introduction to how we like to ski sitting at this table. But we forget, you got to go through, and like I said, it doesn't matter where you're at. You can make one turn and everything changes, and everyone likes to laugh. But, the day I was up there was springtime. It had snowed the night before. We had about 4 inches of soft snow, and I was charging, and that's the thing. I was getting ready for a surf trip, and I was charging because it allows me to go, wow, I'm a little bit better than I am.
Well, so you blew out an ACL at Bretton Woods.
Yeah. The advantage is,
you know why?
The advantage is because it wasn't steep enough. But
you just nailed it.
But the other thing is, I didn't have to take a sled down. I was still able to ski down.
Right.
So
No,
there lies the advantage there.
And glades don't look. What I'm going to ski, where I ski, and how I ski is different than what good glades are, because I'll go find a line that nobody else will ever think skiable. So that's different. J Peak is number one. We had Steve Wright on. He said Bill Stenger, that was their play. Everybody else chased them. So I agree. J Peak's number one. Saddlebacks.
I'm going to go back to it. It's got some great trees.
But it's got some great trees. But I'm sorry. I'm going to take it this way. Brackett Basin is better than Casablanca, to me. And the reason being is because of the diversity of the hardwood in there, which you don't have in Casablanca. So you've got lines as you cut across Sugarloaf's Brackett Basin. You can go deeper and deeper, and those lines get more and more fun, and each one is dramatically different. So if you've never done it, go do it. Bretton Woods, I agree. Best some of the great intermediate beginner glades in New England. And it's because, why do they have good grooming or can hold up their grooming? They don't have their pitch.
Yep.
And the same thing, they don't get bumped up as big because the pitch isn't there. Cannon, sorry, Cannon folks, I can't put you as the best glades. You really ski well. I mean, truly ski well. But
I will step in there, though. On that Middersole side, there's some secret stashes. That is 100%.
Not as much as there used to be.
Local knowledge, and it's one of those things. I read with the shop. We went up there, and a group of us went skiing, and it was like, and it was a struggle. But again, it's like anything in New England. It was one of those days. But I've been back with people that know the mountain. They're short hits, but they are pretty good. But you have to know where you're going.
You know what? With the opening of Middersole to the training center and part of Cannon, Middersole has changed. Mm-hmm. Okay, we all used to hike over the top, but I truly believe Northern Vermont. I mean, Stowe, Sugarbush. How can
top of Madonna?
Well, Madonna, but
smokes
when you talk glades, how can Sugarbush not be in here when you've got the whole bowl in between Mount Ellen and Lincoln Peak? There's nothing like it in New England. That is possibly some of the best.
That's some of the deepest, I would say.
Right. No, and it's all accessible with lift or bus service.
And one of the things I'm going to say as we kind of talk about this subject too is, for anyone, no matter what your level is, whether it's Brettonwood or J Peak or Sugarbush, know where you're going. That's the only thing I'm going to say. That's the only thing I'm going to throw in. That's my PSA for this one segment. Know your boundaries, know your limits, and as we talk, we're seasoned ski veterans, and we've given up some body parts, and we're okay with where we go, and we know what the outcome is. And for families, young kids out there, just know where you're going.
So
ski with a partner.
Right.
So back to Sugarbush on this. If anybody has not skied Slidebrook, you haven't skied great skiing. A couple things with Glades. I never ski alone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay.
Like saying I don't surf alone.
Just realize those tracks going into the woods might lead somewhere you don't want to be. And we see it all the time at Killington when people are off the backside and somebody has to come rescue.
Sugarloaf, it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's just
So,
don't
what's
duck
next?
lines.
Best snowmaking.
Ooh.
They went with Killington, Sunday River, Okemo, Bretton Woods, Wachusett. When you can add 500 guns in the span of about 2 months, it's hard to...
Well, Killington has proven
Yeah.
with the World Cup
Yeah,
to be able to, impending warm conditions lead up to the conditions that the World Cup considers or the FIS considers suitable for the best athletes to race on. You kind of dominate something. But
Goes to show you, though, Killington was able to race. Tremblant wasn't the week later.
Yeah, you know what? The one thing everybody is really missing in all of this equation this year, folks, we've been in a drought. Nobody has water. Loon doesn't have water. Sugarbush doesn't have water. Look at the Pemmy. Anybody that drives north and looks at the Pemmy going, it's dry.
2.5 feet.
So, but that's here nor there. Killington, if you look at the first three, Killington, Sunday River, Okemo, all three of them just have incredible power in snowmaking. Doesn't make necessarily that they're the better than anybody else in snowmaking ability. They have
Water.
the power,
and
and the compressors.
And that's one big thing to touch on is that when you see snowmaking, there's a huge cost that goes with that. Blue Hills, has similar guns. They have the capability of blowing the same type of snow under the right conditions, but it financially sometimes you have to look at what the long-term forecast is. These mountains up north have a little bit more range of weather. Everyone's good, but like you said, it comes down to just size.
Well, I firmly believe there's a few missing off of here because we always think of the big guys. Wachusett is Boston based. Look, Wachusett, Jeff Crawley and his team do it better than anybody. Okay, but we're missing Pat's Peak because honestly, Pat's and Wachusett are probably the best at managing snowmaking. The other one, and I should say the other group, Mount Southington and who's in Canton? I did this again. Canton, Connecticut.
What are you thinking? Yago? No, that's
Sundown?
Rhode Island.
Sundown. Oh my goodness, Keith, I'm getting old. But those guys, what they put out, understand they have got less terrain. But the great snowmaking operations are the ones that are now working in areas where natural snow, they've got to do it differently.
Right. There's no chance of being able to open a mountain on pure natural in
No.
Yeah.
Connecticut and,
Yago Valley, done in Rhode
Yeah,
Island.
yeah, absolutely.
Same thing. But the moral of the story is those aren't bad, but I think we forget how good the Pat's Peaks of the world are. So we got a couple more to go here.
Let's jump over to best scenery. Wildcat, Cannon, Bretton Woods, Gunstock, Sunapee. Hard to disagree with. They're all great.
I give.
Yeah, no, I
give.
mean, my favorite run probably of, again, and it's got about a 3-week window. Lynx on Wildcat, staring back.
Yeah,
It's,
come on. You know what?
Looking up at Mount Washington, it doesn't.
I'm saying uncle on this one. I got nothing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we can look over towards the Adirondacks and stuff, but if you notice, all of those are in my home state of New Hampshire. What else do we got?
Hey, best value, Cannon, Saddleback, Magic, Ragged, Black Mountain of Maine.
I'm glad to see Black Mountain got a mention.
What do they all have in common?
Family. Low key.
They're all Indy Pass.
Correct.
But no, I think, I think you could throw in Bolton Valley in there. I think you can throw in Dartmouth, Middlebury, Black Mountain, New Hampshire.
I think you can still grab tickets to Dartmouth for like $25 on Ski New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Dartmouth is, if you can go midweek, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And nobody's there.
Yeah.
I just told somebody they
You
had
got
it.
NCAA's coming up in March.
Yeah, I mean, and you can ski both sides of the road. I've had some great days there. But I think all of those, any of the smaller ones are the way to go. Okay, we've got 2 more to wrap up here.
Yeah, best lifts. Sunday River, Loon, Killington, Okemo, and Stowe.
Once again, Stratton is one of the best because they're all high speeds. You can play off the top of the mountain and go anywhere.
And this is where the regional bias might play into it.
No, I mean, it's all high-end equipment. It's moving to the top. It's I've always laughed as the skiing has evolved. Me personally, I kind of miss the 2-seater.
You know what? Your
knees certainly do.
Guess what?
It just
we had Ralph Delorier on from Bolton, the Delorier family, him, Lindsay, and Eric. And point blank is, he made the straight comment: the experience is better on a slower lift.
And it's I'm right there, and it's great fun to get to the top. And with skiing costing so much, there is something to be said about being able to get a return on your investment. And I know we want to get laps in, but maybe it's the gray hair as I've gotten a little bit older, but some of the most meaningful conversations in my life, whether it be with friends or family or anything else, have happened on a 20-minute ride in the sun going back to the top.
100%. No question.
I think when we look at this category, yes, if you want to go up and you're trying to get some reps in and you want to know in lousy conditions, they've got the bubble, you've got the warm seat, or there's a huge advantage to that. Hey, if it's cold and it's miserable, I want to go I want to go someplace with a gondola so I can get that break and still get repetitions in, but I don't know. Don't discredit the slow lift.
The single at Mad River Glen still is very special.
Oh, I mean, it's just
there's a time when you
introspection.
Just need to, exactly. So
have to talk yourself up to what you're about to do, or talk yourself back into why did I just do that?
So we've got one more to go here, Keith.
Yeah.
Before we close this out.
Yeah, but let's combine it. Best lodges and Après, because the top 2 spots are the same. 1 Killington, 2 Stowe. That was the extent of the Après category. But other lodges that got high marks were Saddleback, Bretton Woods, and Sugarbush.
Now I'll defer to you guys. I've been out west for so long. Moving back here, the lodge was a whole. I forgot the experience.
Best lodges, Killington. Look, the new lodge, the old, Bear Mountain Lodge and stuff. They know they need to be replaced. Okay,
and
snow.
Mike even said that.
Yeah, Snow Shed, Ram's Head. They're being they're getting combined. But the new lodge, the lodge up top, look, it's pretty spectacular. Stowe, I don't know. I have a tough time saying they have the best lodges. Cliff House is pretty cool, but
when it's not on fire.
Yeah, well,
but is the lodge like the experience of the whole resort, or
no? The lodge, I think the lodge. When you walk into the lodge in Les Massifs, okay, it's you're eating a European lunch. You're doing things like that are really cool. You know, Saddleback's Lodge is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful.
Huge improvements there.
Brenton Woods, with what they've done, absolutely gorgeous. Sugarbush's Lodge, sure, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you stay at Lincoln Peak,
Yeah.
I still like Mount Ellen's Lodge, but I wouldn't put it as one of the preemptive lodges out there. And you know, we talked about Stratton Lodge. Yeah, could use could use a revamp but I still like it. You know, they've got great menus and stuff. I don't have a problem with this. I do think Killington, Saddleback, and Brenton Woods are the three top.
Yeah.
Which would have been interesting along the same lines was on mountain lodging. You know, like those pit stop breaks like Camp 3 or the one at Sugarbush's. What is it? Allen's Lodge, right?
Yep.
The top of the Super Bravo. You know, that I think would have been far more like for bantering about. Was like, where do you prefer to stop? Like at Bretton Woods, you know, the cabin there off the T-bar.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and that's what I always think of the lodge. That you nailed it. That it kind of not foo-foo, but that different lunch or that place where hey, the day is okay, but you decide to kind of post up and you take in everything. Then you're just like, wow, this is a good day.
Sure.
And then you got to figure out how to get down. But
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
That Bretton Woods Lodge is something else too.
Yes.
The one at the top.
The one at the bottom's fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing. You know, it's well done, and once again, it's a great.
But that's another thing. I'll say New England does this only rivaled by possibly Europe. New England does lodges the best. You go west of the Mississippi, we don't know what they are. You leave the condo and you walk onto the gondola, and then you might eat on mountain. But you know, anywhere and I enjoy it. Like I always joke, it's new, but I like to sit there with my cup of coffee, and you see the hustle and the bustle and the kids, and you know, it's fun.
In partying, when it comes to lodges, I would rather go into Mad River Glen or Black Mountain, New Hampshire, with the old school bar, with the old
Bavarian,
school. You got it. Even Cannon, you know, where
Cannonball.
So those are just awesome. Well, Chip, Keith and I want to thank you for coming on, man.
It's been awesome. I kind of forgot, and it's good to see David and be back here, you know, in the saddle. Kind of enjoyed it, and don't forget we got snow.
We've got snow, and you know, you just relieved us, man. You just ninth inning, you closed it out for us.
No, it's I can't thank you enough, and I think, you know, for everyone out there, read this magazine, open your mind, try something different. You know, the Steel Warren Millers. If you don't do it this year, you'd be 1 year older when you don't, and those are true words. You know it, I know it, you know it, Keith. It's don't fall into a routine. This is about the experience.
It is. Look, when everything is said and done, this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Skiing's a fun sport, and
the one with the biggest smile wins.
Just because you ski at Loon or Killington or Stowe doesn't mean there aren't other places to experience, because I can tell you, I've experienced a boatload, and each one gets better and better. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be it for this episode of the Basecamp. I want to thank Chip and Keith for joining me today.
Thank you, Mike.
And we will be back in next week.
Yeah.
It's a weekly podcast.
It's getting there, right?
I mean, I got to fit this in between going skiing here. I don't know how that works, but
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I know.
You guys will figure it out.
Exactly. Well, that's it for this episode of the Basecamp. We'll see you next time.
New England Ski Journal's Basecamp is a Seamans Media podcast. Seamans Media. Inspiring, informative, insightful.